Okay, we are live. Hello out there. Hello world. This is Dawn and TV back again with another episode of Mocha Dip. I do believe that this is episode 6. We are continuing. This is going to be the final episode of Castlevania because it's not that I'm tired of talking about it. It's that I might get scared that people are getting tired of hearing us talk about it. So we're gonna go over season 4 of Netflix's Castlevania. I will give my thoughts and do a quick rundown of Lords of Shadow, so this way TV can know the differences between both video game IPs. Season 4 was the final season of Castlevania. They're saying that it could continue on. Last week I mentioned how it could. Whereas if we follow the original games, then in 100 years, whoever the Belmont is at that point in time, Dracula can come back, which was a thing. There's also Soma Cruz, who is the reincarnation of Dracula. Spoilers for games that's over 10 years old. I think it may be even 20 years old. Just saying. So you'll get to see various things going on with the Castlevania line. The producer, one of the executive producers of Castlevania, he was on an interview and he said, because he said it when season 1 was coming out, and then after that it was complete radio silence. I'm not 1000% sure how true it is anymore. Whereas he said that his company had acquired the rights to Devil May Cry and to reboot a Devil May Cry anime. And he was going to bridge the Devil May Cry world into the Castlevania world. And that would have been an interesting brainchild to see. But right now we're going to talk about season 4 because I'm pretty sure TV has notes. Do you have your handy dandy notebook?
But yes, I do.
Okay, come on.
I thought you were going to read the gap first.
No, we talked up to season 3. So let's talk about season 4. And then we'll talk about Lords of Shadow.
Okay, so season 4. I felt the energy was significantly different.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3 to now. At first, I was like, "Are y'all tired? Is that what it is? You sleepy? You ran out of money? What happened?" And then I saw the last 3 episodes, which is where I was short because things happen. And I said, that's what it is. I'm gonna tell you. Maybe was there a lot of criticisms saying that there was a director departure from the game or anything like that?
Yes and no. Most of the people that were talking about the differences, they knew about the game. Okay. And they knew about a lot of the games, and they were like, okay, this is a good way to make all of the games make sense.
Okay, because see, I'm gonna tell you why I feel this way. That final boss fight, that's what it felt like. It felt like a final boss fight. When you're playing the game and you did a whole bunch of work and you're doing that and your hands are tired, and then all of a sudden the cutscene because you made it because you got the hit count back down to 0, and then that's exactly what that mess looked like. Like that looked like a cutscene from some Final Fantasy. I thought it killed Genova so many. Well, actually, I only killed her once, but I watched Aerith die so many times trying to get stuff off, trying to just bring back PTSD. Anyway, so that's what it looked like to me. It looked like they were trying. I think that's why the energy was different because it seemed rushed. I mean, Saint Germain just got crazy all of a sudden. Yeah, the chick went and said, "Oh, you falling from your path of alchemy. You have to be ruthless now." And then I could see. All right, so and then it went from 0 to 90. I was like, "What?" And all these plans coming together and stuff like that. I did like the reveal with Death. We're not going to spoil too much for y'all, but the reveal with Death was cool. So I was like, okay. That would have been more important if I felt like Barney. I just like I vaguely remember him, but I wish I could have seen him more. Being the level that he did with Godbrand. If I could have seen Barney like that too, or just slightly below that, I think it would have been meant more to me. What happened with him?
I felt like Barney was a good low-level Godbrand because Godbrand was important. And
no,
this might be a little weird.
Throughout, I'm talking about throughout. He was good in season 4.
Yeah, because we didn't need to see anything of the village when during the other seasons. So to me it made sense that we didn't see him until season 4. And then when he came in and it's like, okay, here's this asshole. Yes. And you're running on.
He was a discount Godbrand. That's how I was feeling like.
Yeah.
Like, I like what they did with him, but at the same time, I feel like you should just kicked out Godbrand and had that asshole the whole entire time. Then it would have been more of a payoff.
Godbrand was important to the game. He was not. Barney was not.
I get that. What would he? It's like he was.
I did not understand what you just said.
I said it's like he was. So wasn't he?
Your voice keeps crackling. Okay.
I'm gonna have to just leave because you can't hear me.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those. The more you're talking and the faster you're talking, the more crackling I'm hearing instead of actual conversation. But we were talking about season 4, the character of Barney. His henchman, that dude, I was entertained by because he was so big on the I'm a stone cold killer and all that jazz. That was where I was entertained by this dude. And so that's where I enjoyed him as a character. All right. Put a thumbs up, TV. Put a thumbs up when you're ready. You ready? No. Okay. TV's still trying to situate herself. But the henchman, another character that I enjoyed was actually I enjoyed her until I wanted to smack her. You ready? I enjoyed her until I wanted to smack her. And that was the guard chick from the town. I understood she was trying to protect everyone. I understood that what she was trying to do, but she went a little loopy in her desire to protect the mythos of the king and the queen would come to save them and all that jazz, whereas the king and queen were dead, rotting in a room that she didn't allow anyone into. So that whole thing, and with Sypha trying to, oh,
Hi.
hello.
Hello.
Did you were you able to hear me?
You sounded like a robot in a can. That's why I was saying I wasn't ready.
Okay.
I don't know what was happening. It was kind of insane. So I was trying to make sure the connection was good before I even get back on.
Yeah. So basically I was talking about the guard chick and
Which one?
The
The
one
vampire
that
guard chick?
No, the one that was hiding the king and queen.
Okay.
I said I liked her character until I wanted to smack her.
Oh, you didn't want to smack her the whole time?
After about the second time where she rolled up on them out of nowhere talking about we need this food for the underground court. Around then is when I was like,
okay,
I don't think I like you.
That's fair because I didn't want to smack her at first. I was like, oh yeah. And then later I was like, and it just got worse.
Yeah. And
she passed away and I was kind of like,
It was like she fell during the fight, and it was like all I could say was, at least you died defending someone.
Exactly.
At least you went out doing. At least you went out doing what you swore to do.
Though I did enjoy the fact that there really was some magic. She wasn't totally a crackpot. I mean, she was just 95% crackpot.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Alucard's new girlfriend. I think everybody loved her. What was her name? Greta?
Yeah.
Greta? I think everybody loved her. She won everyone's heart when she admitted she had a threesome too and the wife tried to kill her.
I like how she toned him down and called him out. Because Alucard talks like he's sleepy all the time, right? He's like, I'm sexy sleepy. Let me talk like this. Because I'm serious. And I've got long hair. And I'm super cute with those amber eyes.
Uh-huh.
That's how he is. And I'm like, come on now. And I'm dark and mysterious. No. Maybe. But still. Yeah, I like that she called him out and kind of elevated him a little bit. He was like, "It's my idea." She said, "No, I made you think it was your idea."
Yeah.
It was like she was like a little bit of a female Trevor, a little bit.
God, that would be a scary analogy.
Just a little. What? Like I said, just a little bit. It was just a little bit. But couldn't you see him saying crap like that?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, it was just a little bit.
Look, I think him and Sypha did have that discussion.
You know what, too? Because going back to that boss fight with Death, I like that he told Sypha that he loved her and that Trevor was a bad name. I knew that he knew that she knew. Let me stop. That there was something cooking. And I thought that was great that he knew that. You know, it was shady how he knew that. But I appreciated that. That was a really sweet moment. But I felt, again, like this was a final boss fight. And this was not a final boss fight as in climax of the war and the struggle, the conflict, but like the game cutscene, because it was just so there wasn't enough build up. There wasn't. It just wasn't. It was very. I feel like season 4.
Welcome to almost every fight with death in every Castlevania game.
Okay. So that was par for course. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what you're telling me. But yeah, I felt as though it was a little bit pandering to the gamers there. That's what it seemed like. Or maybe they were rushing because they, like I said, ran out of money and they didn't know if there was going to get another season. So they wanted to make sure it ends. They're going to lose the contracts. I felt like, are you fighting for studio space? Did you not have enough rent money? Is that what happened? I mean, stellar performances. Don't think that it wasn't. Stellar performances. I was actually looking through the cast list. There was some good stuff there. Because Matt Frewer was the only person that I knew by sound immediately. I didn't realize Bill Nighy was in there. I was like,
what? As soon as I saw his name, I knew exactly who he was.
Girl, I ain't watched the credits. I ain't gonna lie. Richard Armitage was the only one I saw because he's the first name. Oh, yeah. And the dude who played Isaac, because you just can't help but notice that name had to be Isaac. You're like, yeah, that name's like African. There's only one person that could be. So,
yeah.
I also thought it was fun that the characters and the actors looked similar. I was like, what is this, Disney? Is that what we're doing here?
I had a feeling you were gonna like Trevor.
Why did you say that?
Because of one of the last major roles that he played. Well, not one of the last, but a major role that he played.
Because you like them like the man dead.
I didn't mean it like that. No, Richard Armitage played Thorin Oakenshield.
That's why the name's familiar.
Yep.
Thoriel.
Yes.
Because Gnome likes it.
The guy that played the gentleman that played Dracula was another one of the dwarves.
I did not recognize him when I saw the picture. I was looking at him. I was like, who is that?
Graham McTavish. He was another one of the dwarves from The Hobbit. And then we had Theo James playing Hector. When Bill Nighy came up, I saw Matt Fuhrer doing the bishop. I'm like, yeah, that's totally him.
You didn't like the bishop? Well, no, I didn't like the bishop, but he didn't like the voice. Did he make you want to punch him? What? He didn't make you want to punch him? The way Matt Frewer read it?
You know what? May the good Lord above forgive me, but I cheered for the demon when that demon got into church and started talking all that mess. And he was like, your Lord has abandoned you because you lying. You over here talking about we lying.
Well, you lying. That devil is a lie, but he won't lie in that time.
Exactly. But no, Bill Nighy. And here's the part that I find hilarious. I personally find it hilarious. In Curse of Darkness, and we meet Saint-Germain, I do believe.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
It's either Curse. Okay. Full disclosure, it has been quite some time since I've played both Lament of Innocence and Curse of Darkness. That being said,
girl, you lucky that they're even getting this.
In one of those two games, and this is one of the reasons why when Saint-Germain, I knew something was up, but Saint-Germain's turn did not surprise me. Because in one of those two games, I think it is Curse of Darkness, but it could be Lament of Innocence. In one of those two games, he rolls up and he's helping you the entire time. And then you find out that he is death.
Oh, now see, that I could get behind, but he wasn't deaf in this one. He just did a hard turn. He just did a hard turn. He just did a random hard turn just because somebody said so. He didn't even hesitate. Well, actually, we didn't get to see any conflict over screwing over my friends and having to change and undo who I was. I think that's what the problem for me was. You see him faced with a decision in one scene, and then you see him again, and he's a nut job. That's cold, a cold nut job. And you're like,
yeah, it was a little bit rushed. I was willing to give it a pass because I know Castlevania only has a certain amount of time, and this is not Saint Germain's story.
I gave them no such allowances.
We had to unpack everything with Isaac and Carmilla and Hector and Lenore and Trevor and Sypha and
yet the only satisfying end I felt like was
Lenore.
No, that's girl.
Carmilla.
Okay, I'll give you kind of. I thought that was a little bit extra, but Carmilla, I felt like Isaac. She went out and blaze a some. So I thought that was a little. I'm gonna mind my language. I think that was a little bootleg. I don't need to be saying bad words anyway. I thought that was a little bootleg with Carmilla, just a tad. Because it was almost like she did it out of spite. So it was like petty McPatty. Yes!
And so that was perfect for her.
I liked it, but I was hoping she would take more people with her when she did it, or at least it's like she tried the suicide bomb, but it was the way that they had it set, it wasn't clear if that's what she was doing or if she was just killing herself just to be petty. So setup was a little bit weird. If anybody was
going to go with her, look, if anybody was going to go with her, I would have wanted it to be that one demon that kept protecting Isaac, the one with the one with the wings. Mm-hmm. Like, that's Isaac's right hand. You need to at least get him. Didn't happen, but
but see, at the end, and you know what was the other crazy thing too is after that scene where Carmilla dies, you don't see Isaac no more.
Yeah, he has that like one last scene with Hector where he's like, I'm good. And, and Hector is like, Isaac isn't happy and I'm scared.
Right. And you don't see him anymore. Especially that last scene when Lenore was like, oh, he's gonna keep me in the cage because King Isaac, blah, 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 blah. And I'm sitting here like, where you at? Are you still doing this?
Nah, he ain't. I don't think he's doing that no more.
I don't think so either.
I think he's sitting back. I think he's sitting back drinking lime juice with a couple of night crawlers.
I think, look, he was just getting a cure for scurvy. That's all that was. But he seemed to take that like that was some Tylenol. So I'm like, if some lime juice makes you that happy, because I'm a lemon holic, I ain't mad. But if lime juice makes you that happy and that just cleanses your spirit, I say go for it. Get that vitamin C. That's what I'm saying. Let the lime set you free.
Uh-huh. So yeah, the final battle with death is a staple. Like, even the way it was drawn.
Looked like a cutscene.
In a lot
From
of them,
Bloodborne.
he is.
From Bloodborne.
No, not from Bloodborne. Not from Bloodborne.
Oh, cartoony.
From Castlevania, yes. Bloodborne, no.
No, I was talking about the animation cartoon situation.
Excuse me. Okay, so Castlevania, love the series.
I enjoyed it.
I am sad to see it go.
I'm not really sad to see it go. I'm gonna tell you
Well,
why. That's not even shade. I mean, I felt, even though the season was rushed, it had a decent end, minus Lenore's crazy tale. I'm like, what in the world? Really? I can't get my way. I'm gonna stand out in the sunlight. I was like, come on. Come on. You didn't even go check in with your vampire sister friends, your sister wives. You didn't even check in with your sister wives or nothing. You just assumed they were dead.
I thought she was dead.
2 of them are still alive.
The sister wives thought she was dead. They already thought when they rolled up and they saw Carmilla explode. They said when they felt it in that ring, they were like, Carmilla is gone. And if Carmilla is gone, we know Lenore is gone too.
No. I said Lenore didn't go check in with her sister wives.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking. She didn't go look for them. Nothing.
Well, King Isaac wasn't going to let her out the house, so she wasn't a fighter.
If she probably had turned into Petty McPetty, then I think I probably could have gotten along with that. That was like, I'm going to just stand out here. It was more like a soft temper tantrum. That's how it felt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pout. I mean, you, especially after all the trash you're talking about, Isaac Hector began some good stuff. I thought you were going to have some fun with that for a minute. Or at least make them fall in love with you before you did it or something. You just like, oh, I can't get my way. Everyone I know is dead. Let me stand out in the sunlight and disappear to ash. I was like, nah, girl. I thought you knew better than that. And I'm not, I'm just talking about her, that scene, for what they showed of her character, especially when it showed that she was more manipulative than you realize. I felt like that was an easy out just to get rid of her and say that's the end of it.
Yeah. A way to close out that storyline with a neat little bow.
Because to me, it seemed like it would have made better sense for her to get nice with Hector and see if you could turn them tables or strike some kind of deal as a liaison or something, because ultimately, isn't that what she wanted?
Yeah, if she could have gotten an in with Isaac and become a diplomat for him.
Yeah, she didn't even, that's what I'm saying. That's why I thought it was ridiculous for her to do that. That didn't seem in her character, especially when she hangs out with the people that she hangs out with. I felt like that was I'm gonna throw my hands up. I don't know what to do with this girl, this vampire girl, diplomat person. So we're just gonna have an awesome another suicide, because that's what you do when you're a sister wife.
Because that's what female characters do when they can't have their way. They kill themselves.
Yeah, that's what we do. When we can't have our way, we kill ourselves. We don't ever persevere. Damn that. What's that about?
All righty. Now we are at halfway point. Now we're gonna go on a quick rundown of Lords of Shadow. And this I was about to forget the like real what WTF moment. Vlad and Lisa?
Yeah, I was confused about that too. Just because your soul makes it out of hell doesn't build you a body. I'm just saying. It doesn't.
And there's also another important part that I peeped. I don't know if you saw it too.
Let's find out. What you talking about?
When they were building that body, They had Carmilla's hand. It was either Carmilla's hand or Hector's finger, but it had that ring.
Yes, I saw that. I didn't know. I was looking at that ring and I was like, where did that come from? I was confused by that. And another thing I wasn't sure was, is that part of the, because she got that Lenore got that out of a vampire spell book that I think Hector found. So I don't know if that was common knowledge or if that was Carmilla's hand or the one finger from Hector. It'd be better to take Carmilla's hand. But didn't she explode? Did she leave any pieces left?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's like, what was the deal with that ring? Did the ring build the body? Because it was supposed to be a binding ring.
Yes, binding so that you have loyalty to your maker, which would have been, in this case, death, since he provided the body. I don't know if Saint Germain knew that. Who knows? But yeah, I peeped that. I was like, I'm confused. And see, that's what I'm talking about with that Russian.
Yeah, they could have taken out a lot of the stuff with the underground court and fleshed some of that out, because I was getting tired of seeing all of those people like, yeah, great, we got the cross thingy for Trevor, the weapon for Trevor, which I think it was underused. Just saying. We got that for him, but otherwise it really wasn't useful. We saw the other, Barney was looking for the other mirror. We found that mirror behind the dead king and queen. And all he used it for was transporting himself from one area to another.
So that mirror is still there in Targa Vista.
Yeah.
Still there for people to use, though they're probably scared right about now because there's so many dead bodies down there.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's like, why are Vlad and Lisa even there?
Unless Saint Germain's girl kicked them out. But why would she do that?
Yeah. It's one of those, because of what happened, I'm a little skeptical that there is even a girl. Because
it was somebody.
Hear me out.
No, there's somebody there. You're right. Yeah, I don't know if it is a girl, but there's somebody there because that was the last thing he saw, was them leaving before the key, I think, fell down or whatever, or it closed up the infinite corridor.
Are you sure? Like, I know there was okay. I'll
okay. Explain. Elaborate.
It this way. Death went through at least two bodies to manipulate Saint Germain into the infinite corridor.
Right.
Into doing the research and whatnot for Dracula.
Right.
Who's to say that he wasn't the woman?
Oh, like instead of him actually being killed by Trevor, he went back into the corridor?
No, and the woman that Saint Germain is after.
Right.
What if that woman was Death, trying to manipulate Saint Germain into finding the infinite corridor, into opening the infinite corridor, into doing the alchemy and doing everything, not so much as to get Dracula back at that point in time, but to enrage and to manipulate things. Because at that point, all Death was doing was just wallowing because it wasn't like Dracula was sending him a whole bunch of people to eat. People were dying on a regular basis. So what if he had started manipulating Saint Germain to do what he was doing, but for different reasons?
Well,
and then when Dracula started going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and he died, he's like, okay, I can use my pawn over here, just move him a little bit over this way, give him a little push, and dominoes. That sort of thing.
Interesting, but then who was that after Death got stabbed in the forehead with the knife, the special knife, as the corridor closed, that looked at that made eye contact with Saint Germain and then shut right as he takes his last breath? Who was that? That's the only reason why I'm like, I don't know about that. I would have been down with you if that hadn't happened. Unless they're trying to say that Death really escaped. He didn't die, which
That's always
if they're trying to do 100
It's a
years later
Horcrux.
Castlevania, what you say?
It's a Horcrux.
Yes. So if
It's
that's what
another piece
happened,
of death.
yeah, if that's what happened, where that body's hanging around waiting for just such an occasion, then then I'm like, yeah, that works. But as it is now, I'm like, I don't know. Of course, anything could happen if you want to just make it happen. I mean, story wasn't exactly tight.
Yeah,
it was tight in the beginning, and then they went and shot it full of holes.
But sadly, that's as pretty tight as we were gonna get.
A colander.
Not so much a colander, more like a couple of air holes, 5 or 6 air holes. Not a complete colander. So yeah, those are our thoughts on. Okay, now we're gonna segue over. Those are our thoughts on Castlevania, the Netflix series. Now, here is where I do a quick rundown of the Lords of Shadow, because TV did not have a chance to watch it. This way you can see a couple of the parallels, how they were trying to reboot it. I enjoy, and I like a good vampire story. I will admit that. Lords of Shadow follows Gabriel Belmont. He is a knight, where he's a knight of light, I do believe it is, where he is trying to gain these powers to find this mask because his wife Marie was murdered. And this mask will help him find her again, like find her soul, and he'll be able to bring her back. That's sort of thing. All this is like, he's like, I know that I'm not supposed to dabble in the black arts, but I love my wife. I want her back. So he goes through all of these trials, all of these tribulations, and he fights what is known as, they are Satan's 3 guards, the Lords of Shadow. Each one of these guards has a different mask. And and so he's going out, he hunts them down, and he goes and fights them. I want to say the first one is Godbrand. The second one is Carmilla. And the third one, we don't really know that much about. Along the way, he meets this other knight, this other knight of light named Zobek. And Zobek is helping him throughout the entire way. Like, hey, you have to do this. I heard you need to go this way. If you need anything, it's before beepers, so send me a pigeon or something. So he's going through all of these mystical lands, and he's fighting these lords of shadow. He's killing these lords of shadow, and he's seeing these visions of Marie. And the more he's going on, the more he's learning, the more he feels himself being weighed down by the darkness that he's fighting. So he defeats Carmilla, the second lord. And this is when things start to go from here to about here. Things start turning for him. He defeats Carmilla. He sees this girl who is mute. She has this armor that protects her. The armor is a demon.
It's like a living armor?
Yeah, it is a living armor that protects her. Like, this thing will lay waste to anything around this girl.
Like that, like Nalini Singh had in that one book with the lady with all the tattoos, and there were like all these guardians on her or something like that. Okay.
Whereas, but the armor was its own entity.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, she turned this demon armor into her attack dog.
Okay.
And she tamed it and told it to trust Gabriel. Well, night falls. They all go to sleep. Gabriel has a nightmare that his wife was it was a replay of his wife's death. And when he wakes up, he's standing over this girl with a bloody knife in his hand. And the girl is dead. So he has to fight the demon armor. He gets a power up from defeating this demon. He finds out that the closer he is, he's losing himself more and more. He's losing his humanity more and more. And he doesn't know who, but someone put it's not the mask that he's looking for, but someone went and took a mask that possesses you and puts you in this like weird trance, like and put it on
Bizarre
him.
Adventure.
It looks like that mask. It looked like a cross between the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and the Jim Carrey mask. It looked like
wow.
So he did not know who, but someone put that mask on him. He killed that girl, the mute girl, and he killed his wife.
So it was him the whole time?
He killed his wife, yes. So now he's like, I have one Lord of Darkness left. I got to take him out. I have to set this right. I have to get my wife back. I have to apologize. The whole kit and caboodle, right? On his adventures there, he also he finds you have like little extras and whatnot that you find. He finds out that the three rulers of the Knights of Light, they have been missing for quite some time. And the reason why they have been missing for quite some time is because they were able to give them. They said they were able to give their souls over completely to the light.
Why am I getting some Young Justice?
Because the light, you waiting for Brother Blood to step out the corridor. Put a pin in that. So you go to the area where the last Lord of Light is supposed to be. Not the last Lord of Light, the last Lord of Darkness is supposed to be.
And it's not Randall Savage.
It is not Randall Savage. It is not Brother Blood. It's Brother Zobek. The dude that has been helping you the whole time. The dude that is voiced by Sir Patrick Stewart.
Engage.
Yeah. So,
why is everybody that you trust is a is a jerk?
So, yeah. You find out that the Lords of Darkness, remember, I said the Lords of Light gave their souls over to the light.
So now they're the Lords of Darkness.
The bodies became the Lords of Darkness.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And they all had keys to, they all had pieces to this mask. And when that mask came together, it would open up a portal to hell to release Satan.
Who had a green face?
No. This was a totally different mask. This looked more like one of the BTS Fake Love Venetian masks. Don't ask. Just roll with it. Thank you. So you fight Zobek, and Satan comes out. Okay, Zobek is death. So again, in Castlevania, second to last boss fight, you're fighting death. Then you fight Satan. You defeat Satan, and you have this mask now.
You say, "Get thee behind."
You put the mask on, and you see Marie standing in front of you. And Marie tells you she knew that all of this was going to happen. She knew that you, as Gabriel, was going to kill her. She knew that you would grow powerful enough to defeat the Lords of Darkness. But you are now a vampire because you are the only one that can stand up to Satan. Really?
That's my response.
So
now you're the enemy.
So when he goes to take the mask off, because around her he sees all of these things floating. When he goes to take the mask off, she's like, this is going to be my goodbye. The mask only shows him Marie. She doesn't come back. Oh, it only shows her ghost.
Imagination.
Yeah.
Imagination Station.
Talk about I see dead people.
Only with the mask, though.
Exactly. So
somebody stop me.
You're not going to let that go. So you find out that the start of Dracula is the Belmont line.
Oh, okay, I like that.
And 1,000 or so years later, you see Zobek in a 3-piece suit walking into this church, and he's like, I need your help. You need to get, I hear that Satan's trying to come out again. He has some followers. You need to do something. And you see this body in like this real skeletal body looking like Victor when he first came out the tubes in the first Underworld movie.
Okay, before we get some blood in us.
Yeah. And you see like that shadow, and he's like, why should I help you? You're the one that you're the one that damned me to this. You're the one that started all of this.
Yes, you're the one who made Skeletor my decorator.
And so Zobek calls him Gabriel. And that's when Gabriel lurches forward and he says, Gabriel is dead. I am now Dracula. I am now Dracula. Do not call me by that name. And that was how the first Lords of Shadow ends. The second Lords of Shadow picks up at almost that exact spot. There is a mobile game that happens in between, but I'll get to that. During that game, well, Lords of Darkness 2, Satan's trying to come back. You're playing as Gabriel again. Zobek is like, okay, well, you have to do this, and this. And you go and you try to you're regaining your powers as Dracula. Zobek has this lieutenant that is following you. And you and that lieutenant clash, and you want to kill him, but something keeps holding you back.
The fact that you feel fantastic.
Really?
I ain't got nothing to contribute but dad jokes. I'm just saying.
So you and the lieutenant keep clashing. Okay. Well, you find out you get your almost all of your full powers back. The last piece that you need, you have to fight Zobek in order to get it back. At that point in time, Dracula's like, I don't know if I can beat him. The lieutenant then reveals himself to be his son.
Hold on. Dracula's son?
Yes.
But not Adrian.
No.
Simon or Trevor?
Trevor.
You know what? Trevor.
Now here's where we go back to the mini game, the mobile game that I was telling you about, the handheld game. You find out in that handheld game that Gabriel wasn't completely a vampire yet. He didn't have the bloodlust. There was someone in Carmilla's castle that turned him into a vampire because
okay. So he wasn't a vampire because of everything that went down with the mask. He was a vampire. He was a vampire. He was just damned.
He was damned. He wasn't a vampire just quite yet.
Okay.
This girl, Lucy, she needed help because she was under attack in her mother's castle, Carmilla's castle. He went, he helped her, but the only way he was able to completely defeat the monster that was in that castle trying to kill Lucy was for him to become a full vampire. So he went over the change. He became a vampire. There was also a creature named Pan that we would see. Pan had, again, a magic mirror This one showed the future.
Did he have a labyrinth as well?
No. Not to my knowledge. But he had this mirror. He took it to the Brotherhood of Light, Gabriel's people. And what they saw was Satan coming back, Gabriel being the only person that could defeat him. They showed Marie that the only way for Satan to be stopped was for Gabriel and her son to work together.
Okay.
Now, remember, this is old time, so there are no beepers, no video calls, none of that. She was about to give birth. Gabriel was gone for almost a year. She was pregnant the entire time and he didn't know. He was not around for her entire pregnancy. She gave birth. She named the baby Trevor, gave the baby up to the Brotherhood. They raised Trevor. She never mentioned Trevor at all to Gabriel. So it wasn't until Trevor was 19, 20 years old, he goes into Dracula's castle to avenge his father.
Ooh.
He goes and he fights Dracula. Oh, and by the way, Trevor left his girlfriend and his son. His girlfriend, Sypha, and his son, Simon. Yeah, he left them off to the side. He was like, I have to go and I have to face this creature that ruined my family. I need for you guys to run and hide.
So she's not the badass that fights by his... Oh, come on.
No.
I like that improvement.
So Trevor goes into Dracula's castle. He sees Dracula. They fight. And Dracula kills him. Like, he is bleeding out, dying. And in that magic mirror that Pan had, there is a creature. And that creature told him who Trevor was and what happened. And he's like, oh shit, I killed my son.
Oh, like they were trying to do in the anime.
Right. He was like, oh my God, no, I can't do this. He goes and he bites his wrist and starts dripping blood down his throat. Then he seals him away so that he can recoup. Right? The third part of the game is when Simon is older. And Simon goes to Dracula's castle because he knows that Dracula killed his father. He knows that because his father needed revenge on Dracula, this, that, and the third. He goes there and he sees this presence with white hair. And he goes by the name Alucard now. So in this one, Trevor is Alucard. So Simon helps him, and throughout all of that last portion of this mobile game, this handheld game, you fight Dracula one last time, and you seal him away in this castle. Trevor Alucard, he goes about his own business. And he tells Simon, he's like, your family is gone. All you can do now is survive and continue on hunting demons. But consider your grudge against Dracula, that is done. So that is an important piece. Simon goes off, lives his life. Now, we get up to Lords of Shadow Part 2. And Alucard, Trevor, he is seeing Marie. Her ghost is around again. She never fully crossed over because she is always centered on Gabriel. And so throughout the game, it's like these shifts where Gabriel sees Trevor, but as a child. He doesn't see Trevor as an adult until he's getting ready to go and fight Zobek. And when he goes to fight Zobek, Zobek's lieutenant puts his hand, like grabs him from behind. He remembers a battle that's at the very beginning of the game. And I know I'm jumping around a lot and I do apologize. At the beginning of the game, there was this huge battle where there was this big explosion at the end. At the end of that battle, Trevor rolls up and he's like, I found everything that we need to defeat Zobek. But you're going to have to lose your memory and you're going to have like almost no power and you're going to have to gain your footing back because that's the only way any of this will end. The one way, Tony Stark. One way, Tony. One way.
Doctor Strange.
So they go and they have a conversation. And Gabriel asks, like, will you be there? Trevor tells him, I will always be there. You will know when it is time, when you feel me by your side again. So when he grabbed him, he had enough of his powers back to realize everything that happened. So then they're able to fight Zobek together. Trevor, Alucard killed Zobek's knight and because Zobek's lieutenant. And because Zobek's lieutenant always wore this full like armor, he just put that on and was acting like the lieutenant. That's why you need to make people speak if they can. All of this would have happened. Look, a lot of Zobek's problems would have been canceled if he had a voice recorder. Just saying. So yeah, they defeat Zobek. They fight Satan again. They defeat Satan. And the game ends with Gabriel and Alucard in modern day trying to figure out how to make the world a better place, kind of, sort of. And it's one of those like, yeah, you defeated Satan, so yeah, what are we gonna do now? I don't know, Pinky. What are we gonna do tomorrow? But I did enjoy the twist of the Belmonts being the beginning of the Dracula line with the Lords of Darkness, because that to me gave the family way more investment instead of it's 100 years. I gotta go fight Dracula. Why? Because my great granddad lost his girlfriend to a demon. It's way more it's like it's more of an investment when I'm like, okay,
as a third party, sure. I'm just saying. I mean, if it was like me, I think I'd be all in just because. But he has a third party. It's like it needs to be more. It's not enough to just fight him, just because it's a grudge match. The Hatfields and McCoys were doing it wrong. You should have found out. Well, they were really related. I think they were.
That would not surprise me.
Romeo and Juliet shenanigans.
Yeah, pretty much. But yes, that is Dracula Lords of Darkness in a nutshell. There are various videos on YouTube that have all of the movie plays, the movie cutscenes. There is one, I believe Gamers Little Playground has it, where it is Lords of Darkness 1, the DLC, the handheld game, and Lords of Darkness 2. What?
I noticed it's 1 hour. We're over an hour. Wow.
Yeah. Yes, we are over now. I told you I could talk about Castlevania.
The natives are stirring. Well, the native.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. Next week we are going to try to get through some of Shadow and Bone.
Yeah.
So that this way that was Tia's choice. So this way we can start talking about that for you guys, and hopefully it won't take 3-4 weeks the way Castlevania did. So TB is going to, yeah. So we're going to sign off right now, and at 1 hour and 7 minutes and 10 seconds. And we will talk to you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right. Bye.